Hello you kawaii bastards, it's me Reaver, and welcome to another review of mine. Today we're checking out Bit Dungeon 2, a roguelike game that appeared on Steam recently, I think a couple days ago or whatever, so let's see if it's actually good. Now if you're unfamiliar with Bit Dungeon 1 and or wondering, what the fuck's Bit Dungeon 1? Why are you talking about Bit Dungeon 2? I've never even heard of Bit Dungeon 1. What the fuck? Well, that's because Bit Dungeon 1 was like a flash game that you can play on Congregate, Newgrounds, if you skim through all the hentai porn, which is a difficult task within itself, but you can play it on any Flash website that hosts free Flash games. And if you were, I don't know, someone who likes mobile gaming and or own a Ouya, because we all do own a Ouya, you can buy it on there for about 99 cents on iOS or Android Market. That's Bit Dungeon 1. Now Bit Dungeon 2 is what I would consider Kanto Games' first commercial game to come out. I don't know. Like I said, they've only worked on Bit Dungeon 1, which was like a flash game. So this is the first commercial game release, I think, I want to consider. Whatever. Namely for the fact that Bit Dungeon 1 was only sold on Android markets, which, it was a flash game, you can play for free on the internet. This one you'll have to buy on Steam, buy on the mobile platforms. And if you own one of these things, which not many people do, you can play it on PS Vita. That is if you're not using it as a paperweight. So yes, this is Bit Dungeon 2. Is it a game worth getting? Well, if you're a fan of roguelike games, I can definitely say that you might be a fan of this game. So let's further dive into the dungeons of Bit Dungeon 2. That was pretty fucking lame.
We actually start out with a nice looking title screen that just looks kind of pretty and spooky at the same time. Another thing to note is the music is pretty fantastic. I like it. Hardcore Zelda fans might notice that this is kind of similar to the Zelda graphics, and the campfire is there to save your progress, make a checkpoint, and fully heal you, which kind of reminds me of Dark Souls. Basically, the game starts off like this every time, and you can choose your weapons based on how you want to play the game. Each weapon has their special abilities, and their, different stats and whatnot. And that guy looks kind of like Yoda. A lot of people have noted that it reminds them of Zelda with the old man saying, "It's dangerous to go alone, take this." Right off the bat, I have two personal issues with this game. You might not find them issues, but first is the combat. Basically, you have to run into the enemy to hit them. You don't have any button to press to make your character hit, but it's all auto attacks, and I don't really like auto attack systems, and there's really no options to disable auto attack. This game's also similar to Dark Souls in the sense that you could run into a mob of knights and just get your ass fucking kicked without even much of a tutorial. Another issue I seem to have is basically you're there for no reason. You're just exploring, which some people might not mind. I like to explore and stuff too, but I like also having an objective. I think objectives in games are kind of important. Here I'm just exploring and killing, and I don't know, it kind of bothers me. Again, this is just a personal issue, and you might not agree, and that's fine. It's kind of subjective for me, but those are the two issues that I had with it right off the bat. Another issue I had at the time of this recording was I could not find any potions in the overworld. Like, they wouldn't fucking drop. I would go through like waves and waves of enemies, losing my health little by little, and no fucking potions to help me at all. This was an issue because I just couldn't stay alive in the overworld. Now, they do drop in the dungeons kind of frequently, and to the point where you don't even need them at that point. So what I would do is just go into the dungeons for the potions and go back in the overworld. I kind of understand that's what the campfires are there for, but that's another issue. They don't really spawn at fair distances between each other since it's a randomly generated game. Again, this issue was apparently fixed in this new update that they had recently, and I can't confirm this. I played it recently after the update was, installed and everything, and I did get potions a little frequent, but it was more fair at least. Now that I skimmed through all the negative blemishes in this game, I have to talk about how good this game looks and how varied it seems to be. If you notice the footage in the review, you notice that I've been basically going everywhere. I've been in forests, I've been in dark forests, I've been in dungeons. This game has a lot of different landscapes and it really keeps things refreshed. Not to mention that each landscape has their own special enemies, which basically changes up how you need to combat these enemies, which is, like I said, very refreshing. Dungeons seem to have these puzzles in them, which basically are button puzzles where you need to put rocks over them. Some can be simple, some can be kind of complicated, and I've only ran into one where it became broken because of the randomly generated nature of this game. And I really like how the dungeons are designed and how they look. And let me tell you, the loot system in this game is fucking excellent. What I have on right now is not even level 10 stuff. This is lower level stuff, and there's a lot more to get. To be honest, the loot is what really drove me to keep playing the game, even though it didn't really have much of an objective, because I just wanted more cool stuff to wear, and to basically see what the game had to offer in terms of loot. It was satisfying to put on each new gear, and to see how it affected my stats. It's kind of like Pokemon, you know? You want to catch all of the Pokemon, just so you could be the strongest trainer or whatever. And another really good aspect of this game is the creatures that kind of fucking inhabit this world. From these weird sand spiders to these tall looking demented things that walk around the dark forest, you'll definitely be surprised to each new enemy type you find in different regions of the game. The movement in this game is pretty nice, and the control scheme kind of complements that. Not to mention that this game has full controller support, which really goes well with this game. The last thing in this game I really want to talk about is the fact that it has an online option, but it seems to be disabled, so we might be getting some online play in the near future, which really will be good for this game.
So there you have it, folks. Besides a few issues that I seem to have with the game, they can be fixed with the further updates. This game's just been released, it's fresh, it's gonna have its bugs, it's gonna have its little blemishes and whatnot. But other than that, everything runs fine. Game runs at silky smooth frame rates, it's optimized well, and if you're a fan of the old retro, I don't know, NES games such as Legend of Zelda, you'll definitely love this game. It has a nice huge overworld to explore and nice dungeons to pillage for loot. So other than the few little blemishes, the combat, and the fact that you're just dropped into this world to explore, it's just more of a personal preference. Now, it's actually on sale right now, so if you hurry your asses over to the Steam sale and get it for $2.99, which I do suggest, you'll be having a fun time exploring this huge overworld, fully randomly generated. It's a different experience every time, and the dungeons are a treat, especially the creatures that roam around in it. So in closing, I rate this game a 5 out of 5, and you should buy it, mates. Or get Heartscoped. Put kids these days in their fucking montage parodies. If you like this video, give it a like, and if you're new here and you like this kind of content, subscribe. This has been the Kawaii Bastard himself, Reaver, and I'll see you guys next video.